Welcome to Ethan's Revenge.
I got served the divorce papers by email. No call, no fight, just a subject line. Let's be respectful about this. 13 years, gone in a PDF. My name is Jacob. I'm 41. Logistics coordinator, third deployment, stationed east of Ramadi. We were 5 months in when Olivia made her move. She emptied our checking account. She cleared the savings. She transferred everything into a new protection account she opened alone. Then she moved her yoga instructor into our house. His name's Skylar. He drives a Tesla and sells Clarity retreats. I found all this out between a heat alert and a comms blackout. I didn't throw my chair or punch a wall. I didn't call anyone. I sat in the corner of the tent, looked out at the sand, and thought. So this is it. That night, I replied with one line. Received. No objections. Then I locked my screen, got dressed, and ran 5 miles in the dark with a loaded vest. Not for anger, for control. When I got back, my bunkmate asked, "You good?" "Yeah," I said. And that was it. The truth is, I'd seen it coming. 6 months before I deployed, she started pulling away. Not loudly. Subtle things. Her phone never left her hand. She started working out with her trainer on Saturdays. She took a girls' trip to Sedona and came back with a tattoo of a lotus. When I asked about it, she said, "It's for inner growth. You wouldn't get it." She was right. I didn't. But I got something else. I got quiet. I got organized. I got ahead. I didn't check her phone. Didn't follow her car. Didn't accuse. Instead, I opened a separate bank account. Redirected 15% of my pay. Pulled all original legal documents from the house and mailed them to my brother in Kansas City. He didn't ask questions. Just said, "Got it." I updated my military paperwork. Changed all beneficiaries. Removed her name from everything that mattered. Did it slowly. Quietly. She had no idea. Because Olivia thought strategy looked like yelling and slammed doors. I knew better. The last thing I did was reset the security system to my phone. She never noticed the change. But I saw everything she did from that moment on. The emails. The deposits. The guest Wi-Fi devices. She thought I was 7,000 miles away and blind. She didn't know I could still see her front door. My Seahawk mug from boot leave. That's how I knew this wasn't a fling, it was occupation. The camera angle wasn't great, but it didn't have to be. I recognized the way she laughed. Not like she used to. Like she was performing gratitude. For him. I watched them eat at the table I built. Watched her pass him the bottle of hot sauce I always kept on the second shelf. Watched him rest his feet on the chair I'd re-upholstered after deployment. None of it was rage. It was inventory. I opened my notebook and wrote the date, time, timestamp. Olivia brings Skylar into house. No attempt to hide it. I added the entry under a section I'd already titled, Reckless Evidence. That night, I slept without Ambien for the first time in months. Because I had what I needed, information. And information is leverage. The next day, I requested a secure call with my Army legal contact. Not a complaint. Not a divorce cry. Just a consultation. "What's your goal?" she asked. Legal protection of all marital assets. And removal of her financial access, where applicable. She paused. "Have you spoken with her?" "No." "Do you intend to?" "No." Another pause. Then, understood. We began filing the documents that afternoon. Olivia had changed the Netflix password. She thought that was control. I changed the secondary authentication on our mortgage. That's the difference between gestures and position. 3 days later, she posted a photo. Her, in front of the mirror. Sunlight. Crystals. Caption. Letting go of the past to step into my real life. I saved the post. Added it to the file. Then I saw something new. Skylar in the driveway. Taking out the trash. He wore my hoodie again. But this time, he had a key. I looked at the time, 9:17 a.m. She was at work. So now he had full access. Which meant she'd given him the code. Which meant I had legal grounds to begin asset freeze under unauthorized cohabitation use. I made 3 phone calls that night. Bank. Attorney. VA contact. No threats. No panic. Just movement. Because Olivia had made her move. And I had let her. That was her mistake. Thinking I was doing nothing. But she forgot. Stillness doesn't mean surrender. And the next morning, the bank called her. Asked her to verify a transaction. She couldn't. Because her name had just come off the account. The bank flagged her. They always do when access changes overnight. She must have panicked. Because 10 minutes later, she texted me for the first time since sending the divorce email. Hey, did something happen with the account? My card just got declined. No greeting. No apology. Just confusion. Like I disrupted a system she assumed would always serve her. I didn't answer. Instead, I forwarded the message to my attorney. Subject line, communication attempt, financial. That text was no longer personal. It was evidence. An hour later, she tried again. I'm not trying to fight. Just want clarity. Clarity? She emptied our savings. Moved another man into my house. Filed for divorce while I was on deployment. But she wanted clarity. I stared at the screen. Then put the phone down and went for a run. 6 miles. Full gear. Desert heat. Focused breathing. No music. By the time I came back, I had a plan. Step 1. Lock her out of the shared cloud. She'd stopped uploading anything personal months ago. But my files? Still syncing from my laptop to the home server. I shut that down. Step 2. Remove her access to the tax account. It was in both names, but registered under my military credentials. She'd probably never noticed the login was linked to my CAT card. Step 3. Call the VA loan advisor. Explain the situation. Send over documents. He said, we'll start the verification. You'll want to initiate protective override on the title. Already done. 3 days passed. Silence. Then came the call I was waiting for. Her voice on voicemail. Forced calm. I don't understand why you're doing this. I thought we could be civil. I'm not trying to hurt you. She used I 5 times. Never once said sorry. Never once said Skylar's name. Because people like Olivia don't apologize. They redirect. I saved the voicemail. Sent it to my lawyer. He added it to the file. We were building a foundation, not for attack, but for response. Meanwhile, Skylar kept using my space like it was his. Watered the lawn. Posted a photo from the back deck, sunrise and sacred peace. I screenshotted it. Tagged the GPS. Logged the timestamp. Another entry under unauthorized occupancy. And then the moment arrived. She tried to refinance the house. Didn't know the title had already been restricted. The loan officer called me directly. Mr. Jensen, we're seeing an application attempt here with your address and spouse's name. You didn't authorize this. No, I said. And I'll be filing formal notice of fraudulent inquiry. And the next morning, she showed up at the bank in person, but they wouldn't even let her in the office. The bank denied her face-to-face. She brought a folder, printed statements, even wore that forced calm she used at dinner parties. But the account manager didn't care. His screen told the story, and her name wasn't on it anymore. Later that day, she called me. Twice. I didn't pick up. The third time, she left a voicemail. I think we need to talk. This is getting out of hand. No apology. No responsibility. Just this. Like it was a shared storm. Not a fire she lit and left behind. I saved the message. Filed it. Then I called my lawyer. He said, it's time. We filed for protective control of all shared financial and property interests under the clause reserved for military spouses in active deployment. Rare, but real, and legal in 3 states. She triggered it when she changed the locks without notice and moved someone in. I didn't gloat. I just signed. 2 days later, I got a text from Skylar. Blocked number. But dumb mistake. Real men don't hide behind lawyers. Handle it yourself. I smiled. That text just became part of the file. Unsolicited harassment. From a man illegally residing on my VA-backed property. My lawyer's reply? Perfect. Let them keep talking. The following week, Olivia sent a letter. Handwritten. I opened it carefully, scanned it once, then twice. I didn't mean for things to go this way. I just needed space to grow. We can still fix this if we stop fighting. There it was again. We. She kept trying to split the blame like a shared phone plan. But there was no we. There hadn't been in a long time. She started losing followers. I noticed because her profile went from public to private. The wellness content stopped. No more mantras. No retreats. Just silence. That meant the cracks had reached her audience. And people like her, they live off image. I didn't say a word. Just documented. Then came the legal notice. She was contesting the freeze. Wanted access to her half of what we built. We'd already submitted the timeline. My lawyer requested a hearing. And we had everything. Transfers. Surveillance logs. Skylar's text. Even her caption about stepping into her real life. It was all admissible. And the next morning, she emailed me again. I didn't expect you to be so cold. I didn't reply. But in court, cold wins. Because heat burns fast. And I had all the time in the world. She said I was cold. But cold isn't cruel. Cold is stable. Cold is what's left when the fire dies out. We got a court date. She filed an emergency motion to unfreeze the accounts. Claimed financial distress. Claimed I was punishing her emotionally while deployed. The judge wasn't impressed, especially when my lawyer handed over 2 files. 1. The full bank timeline. Every withdrawal she made, starting the day after I boarded the plane. Each amount. Each date. Each account number. 2. A signed affidavit from my Army CO confirming that I had been on duty and had zero access to private financial action at the time she drained our joint assets. That's what the judge saw. He looked at Olivia and asked, "Why did you remove $84,000 before filing your petition?" She said, "I didn't know how much was mine." He nodded once, then denied her motion. Skylar was still in the house, but the process server had reached him. He'd been officially named in the cohabitation violation, which meant now he was part of it. My lawyer filed a trespass affidavit, filed under federal jurisdiction, since the VA loan qualified the home as protected under the Service Members Civil Relief Act. Skylar didn't show up to the hearing, didn't respond. That's fine. We didn't need a response. We just needed the signature from the judge. It came 2 days later. I now had court authorization to begin the legal eviction of a man who wasn't on any lease, deed, or contract. My lawyer drafted the notice. We sent it to both of them. Certified mail. 3 days passed. Then Olivia called again. "You're really going through with this?" "No hello. No how are you?" Just shocked that I was no longer playing her version of fair. I didn't answer. Instead, I filed the recording of that call. She hadn't blocked recording on her end. Under verbal acknowledgement of violation. She stopped posting after that. Skylar, too. Everything went dark. But silence isn't always peace. Sometimes it's planning. So I prepared for the next phase. Asset separation, property audit, retroactive repayment demand. My lawyer had one question. "Do you want to pursue full damages or a quiet split?" I thought about it. And the next morning, I said, "I want everything she thought I wouldn't fight for." She thought I wouldn't fight. Because I didn't scream. Because I didn't show up on the porch. Because I didn't beg. But I don't warn people I'm done. I just removed them from the equation. Olivia hadn't responded to the court letter. Skylar was ignoring the eviction order. And the utilities were still in my name. So I made the call. Power, transferred. Water, restricted. Internet, canceled. All legal. All verified. Because if you're not listed on the account, you don't have a say. That's not revenge. That's housekeeping. I sent the last certified notice. Deadline, 72 hours to vacate or face sheriff enforcement. She texted once. "This is cruel." No acknowledgement of the money. No mention of Skylar's illegal occupancy. Just cruel. I didn't respond. I forwarded the message to legal, who added it to the growing file. That file now had over 90 entries. Receipts. Screenshots. Logins. Messages. Social media captures. Property records. All with timestamps. I wasn't angry. I was ready. The next hearing was about division. She wanted half the house. My lawyer stood up, opened a folder, and read. Refinance attempt under forged signature. $84,000 removed from shared account without consent. Cohabitation with an unauthorized individual. Attempted resale without owner present. The judge took 10 minutes. Then he said, "Petitioner forfeits claim to primary residence and any remaining shared liquid assets, pending restitution." That was it. No fireworks. No debate. Just loss. On paper. 3 days later, Skylar finally left. The sheriff stood outside while he packed. He tried to talk. Tried to say man to man. I didn't respond. Didn't even go near the property. I just watched the camera feed. Him throwing his duffel bag into the back of the truck. Olivia standing in the doorway. Not helping. No crystals. No quotes. No hashtags. Just quiet. The day after, I walked into the house for the first time in months. It smelled like her perfume and burnt incense. I opened all the windows. Took inventory of what was gone. Not much. She left my tools. Left the photo of us at the Grand Canyon. Left a note on the fridge. "You didn't have to do this." I folded it once. Dropped it in the trash. Closed the fridge. I called my lawyer. "We're done with property?" "Done," he said. "But there's one more thing." "What's that?" He paused. "Her attorney contacted us. She's requesting mediation. And the next morning, she walked into the office and saw me sitting there calm, still finished. She didn't speak first. She walked into the mediation room like it was a therapy session. Soft sweater. No makeup. That look people wear when they want to be seen as broken, not guilty. I didn't stand. Didn't nod. Didn't blink. Just sat with the file in front of me. Tabs marked. Dates labeled. No anger. No welcome. She sat down slowly. The mediator introduced herself. Outlined the purpose. We're here to resolve the remaining issues around personal property, communication boundaries, and restitution. Olivia nodded like a student at office hours. I said nothing. I never wanted things to go this way, she said. I didn't look up. I didn't feel like you were really in the marriage anymore. Still silent. The mediator looked at me. Do you want to respond? I opened the folder. Pulled out a page. Set it in the center of the table. It was a transcript of her bank transfers. Start date, the morning after I deployed. End date, the week she tried to refinance the house. Next page. A screen capture of Skylar's text. Next. The real estate listing photos. Next. Her letting go Instagram post, location tagged at my address. She stared at them, then looked at me. Jacob, I made mistakes. But we both. I raised a hand. Just slightly. She stopped. The mediator cleared her throat. Jacob, would you be open to a resolution that avoids further litigation? I spoke for the first time. Yes. Olivia turned slightly toward me, hopeful. Finally, I looked her in the eyes. Full restitution. No contact. No claim. No delay. Her face changed. Not hurt. Not surprised. Exposed. She turned to the mediator. He's being punitive. No, I said. I'm being finished. The meeting ended in 22 minutes. I stood. Closed the file. Walked out. No goodbye. Outside, the air was crisp. Clean. First time in months I didn't feel like I was carrying weight I didn't earn. Later that day, I received an email from her lawyer. Subject, acceptance of terms. Final draft pending. I forwarded it to mine with 2 words. No edits. He replied. Understood. You'll have the final signature by Friday. That night, I cooked for the first time in weeks. My kitchen. My food. My peace. No camera feeds. No lawyer calls. Just quiet. Until 11:42 p.m. My phone buzzed. Blocked number. Voicemail only. Her voice. You win, Jacob. I hope you're happy. And the next morning. I didn't listen to the rest. I deleted it. Before the second sentence started, the voicemail was gone. So was any trace of her voice on my phone. I deleted every saved message. Every old photo. Not in rage. In routine. Because when you're done, really done, you don't archive memories. You erase access. By Thursday, her signature was on every page. No claim to the house. No access to accounts. No stake in the pension. No future contact clause. My lawyer sent the file over at 3:47 p.m. Subject, finalized. I opened it. Read every line. Slowly. Quietly. At the end, one signature. Hers. It didn't feel like closure. It felt like silence. And that was better. The next morning, I drove to the storage unit I'd opened before deployment. Inside, a lockbox with everything that mattered. Birth certificates. My mom's silver. My grandfather's watch. Untouched. Intact. Mine. I loaded it into the truck and didn't look back. Back at the house, I walked room to room. Not to relive anything. To audit. She'd left behind books. Incense. One of those Himalayan salt lamps. I boxed them without reading the titles. No need to sort meaning from things that never had any. The last thing was a framed photo of us from Lake Tahoe. I didn't pause. I didn't flip it over to see what she wrote on the back. I just set it face down in the box. Then I sealed it. Drove to a donation center. Dropped it off. Didn't leave a name. They didn't ask. At home, I changed the last password. Reset the Wi-Fi. Reprogrammed the locks. Closed every window. Not for security. For stillness. Around 9 p.m., my brother called. He'd been holding the legal copies. Said, "It's really over, huh?" "Yeah," I said. "It's done." He paused. "You want to talk about it?" "No." Then, "But thanks." We hung up. No drink that night. No celebration. Just sleep. Uninterrupted. First full night in months. And the next morning, I got a letter. No return address. Handwritten. I opened it slowly, recognized the handwriting immediately. Inside, 3 lines. I never meant to lose us. I thought you'd always wait. I didn't know you had it in you. I folded it once, dropped it in the trash, and made coffee, stronger than usual. Because today was the first morning I didn't owe anyone anything. The letter stayed in the trash. I didn't pull it back out, didn't reread it, didn't wonder if she meant it. Meaning doesn't matter when trust is gone. Only actions do. And hers already said everything. I spent the weekend clearing closets, cabinets, storage spaces I hadn't opened in years. There were reminders everywhere. Receipts from weekend trips. A bracelet I bought her in Denver. A candle labeled shared intentions. I tossed them all, one item after another. No hesitation, no nostalgia. Because memory isn't sacred, not when it's based on a lie. I ordered new dishes, not because I needed them, but because I didn't want to eat off plates she once picked out. I replaced the sheets, the towels, the curtains. It wasn't a redecoration. It was a reset, a total erasure of shared design. That Monday, I called the vet, scheduled a wellness check for the dog. She'd left him behind without question. Didn't even ask how he was. He was fine, loyal, still waiting by the door at 6 p.m. But I stopped opening it. People started asking questions. My CO asked how I was holding up. Said he'd heard whispers. Someone had seen Olivia working retail again. Back in town. I said, that's her business. He nodded. Didn't push. Because soldiers know. When someone walks through fire quiet, they're not looking for applause. They're making space for the next thing. A week later, I got an email from a wellness brand. Sponsorship inquiry. Said Olivia had listed me as a brand consultant and supporter of her journey. It made me laugh. Just once. Then I forwarded it to my lawyer with one line. Remove my name from anything she touches. 5 hours later, her site went dark. Because the hosting account was still under my name. She never transferred it. That was her mistake. Again. Later that night, I sat on the back porch. Same chair. New cushions. New playlist. No photos on the wall. No scent of lavender or sound bath hums. Just quiet. The dog rested at my feet. I looked up at the night sky. No phone. No glass of whiskey. No messages waiting. And for the first time in over a year, I didn't think about her once. Not even by accident. The next morning, I booked a flight. One way. No plan. Just coordinates. To a place she never knew. Where I wouldn't be followed. And where the only name on the lease would be mine. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. No social media post. No fresh start caption. No cryptic quote about healing. I just left. The airport was quiet. Middle of the week. Middle seat. No check bags. Just to carry on with the essentials. Clothes. Documents. The dog. Everything else I had already left behind. The cabin I found was old, but clean. Small porch. Wood stove. No neighbors for half a mile. The key was under a rock by the door. I picked it up. Unlocked the deadbolt. And just like that, the door opened. No resistance. No alarm. A different kind of silence greeted me. Not emptiness. Not grief. Just absence. And that was perfect. I unpacked in under 10 minutes. Set the dog's bed by the window. Made coffee. Opened the windows. Let the cold air in. Then I sat on the floor. No furniture yet. No distractions. Just breath. I didn't miss her. Didn't imagine her knocking. Didn't hope for an apology that never came. What I felt was nothing. And that was new. And that was good. The first week, I didn't check the news. Didn't check email. Didn't check court updates. Because there was nothing left to fight for. And no one left to fight against. The paperwork was final. The assets returned. The house sold. The accounts closed. The name removed. Even my old deployment records were updated to reflect the new emergency contact. Myself. One morning, I went for a walk. No destination. Just forward. Past pine trees. An empty barn. A frozen creek. The kind of landscape that doesn't care who you used to be. Only who you are when the sun comes up. And I was okay with that. I started journaling again. Not about her. About space. About quiet. About rebuilding. I built a fire one night. Not because I was cold. But because I could. That felt like something. A letter came a month later. From her lawyer. My client would like to reopen discussion around long-term asset compensation. I burned it. Page by page. Over that same fire. No reaction. No reply. And the next morning, I woke up to birds outside the cabin. No buzzing phone. No unfinished sentences. No fear. Just a man, a dog, and a silence that no one could take.